Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Thank you for taking time to cruise in for Car Club Talk, and welcome to our home in Lone Star Community Radio Studios, house here in Conroe Tower, right across the hall from Conroe City Council meeting chambers.
And they're meeting at this moment too.
Are they meeting over there? I didn't look when I came in. I should have looked.
They're looking at the revenue.
I should have cupped my hands and looked through the window over there. Meeting on revenue, huh?
Yeah, tax sales.
Yeah, good time right after a
hurricane, right?
Yeah. Hey, I'm your host, Randy Weldon, and my co-host over here is
Robert Helmer.
There you go. Robert, you were talking, neither one of us have power at our houses.
No, it's been a really interesting week. Man, you take 2 or 3 days without power, just like, what happened, huh?
Well, Houston in July with excessive humidity and heat. Yeah, it's
right.
a wonderful combination.
95 degrees inside the house. Yeah. It's funny how you go outside and it's 10 degrees cooler.
It's cooler. Yeah, you got a wind, you got a breeze and everything going out there.
Right.
It's pretty strange.
But we do want to give out a shout out though to Sam Houston Electric. They have over 1,000 technicians on the ground right now, and I'm going to tell you they are working day and night to get us back on, and we really appreciate that and the hard work that they're doing. So far, what we're getting is 45,000 locations have already been restored, so they're doing a great job.
Well, and I know Centerpoint is out there working. They're not in our neighborhood yet. I think we're scheduled for power either Sunday or sometime early next week right now. So it's a lot. We had a lot of damage in the backyard, a lot of trees blown over. Thankfully, no damage to the house. Yeah. But, that's part of living on a coast.
5 trees, yep.
Yeah.
Big pines, too.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I got to get somebody out to cut some of that stuff up for me.
And it was really weird watching them fall. They just fall real slow, and they're gone.
I missed all of it, man. I was up in Pennsylvania for a high school reunion.
Yeah, you were up getting away from it all, huh? Yeah,
well, high school I never graduated from, but a bunch of people I grew up with, went to elementary and middle school with, and the first year and a half of high school. And they invited me back. They're all still friends. We used to ride bicycles and stuff together, go sledding and stuff. So it was interesting to be up there.
Yeah, it's interesting they invited you back.
I need to be invited to Conroe High School, where I actually graduate from. I need invited to that guy. So,
hint, hint.
Yeah, it's a hint.
Okay, well, just on the same note, though, if you see the technicians out there in your neighborhood, just go there and tell them you appreciate everything they do.
Yeah, give them a bottle of water or something.
That's it.
Anything to pitch in.
That's it. Okay, I don't know if you want to announce the people that we didn't get to have on our show today.
Because of the hurricane, Dana Pritchard was going to be here, and she had to cancel.
Yeah.
She's been without power at her shop, still without power at her shop.
Stephen?
We had Stephen
Adair
coming back.
Yeah, All-American Muscle, but he's been affected by the hurricane as well, so I had to reschedule.
Well, we've got when I was in Pennsylvania, I was invited to go to a car show. They have something called Heritage Days, and you got to understand this is a little farming community of 5,000 people, and in between Pittsburgh and Erie, Pennsylvania, right on the Ohio border. So it's 5,000 people. When I got there, they shut down Main Street. I thought, well, this is pretty cool. Problem was, it wasn't just like 500 cars. It was 1,500. So we've got a gentleman by the name of Bill Summers who's going to zoom in from PA for us this afternoon. We're going to have him on the show talking about what he does to put that car show together, and talking about some of his cars that show up. And then after that, we've got Jason and Katie Scaturro, who have a car club show map that they put out, our Facebook page, that they put out, and they publish every week asking, here are the events, who's going to what.
And that's called the Houston Regional
Automotive Events page.
Yep. Okay, yeah, and you can always look that up on Facebook.
Yep.
And he's pretty good about listing every all the areas, not just the local areas. It's all over. He's getting widespread all over Texas now.
Yeah, Jason's become pretty well known in the car club community out here.
Right.
So, I think everybody pretty much knows. Of course, he's not a little guy either.
Yeah.
So you know when he walks in the room.
Yeah, and he likes to take a poll and get your input on where you're going. I think he likes to know what shows he needs to list next week or the week after. And I think he takes the people's views, takes their interest in what shows they like.
Yeah.
He knows what shows to list and what not shows to list.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's doing a great job putting that together.
He does. I think it's Bob Wright went out. Remember
the Camaro Kid
used to have that calendar, and Jason's kind of replaced that. He's become the guy who replaced that in the community. So anyhow, those guys will be on here very shortly. I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you. We're sitting here. You don't have power. I don't have power. But I noticed today I had to run back a rental car that I used to go to Pennsylvania in. We had to cut a tree off a power line so that when they do energize the line, it doesn't burn my house down.
Right.
So got all that out of the way, and then ran out to run that car back, and I noticed the Amazon EV trucks are out there delivering. So obviously they don't have a problem. Must have a backup generator somewhere.
I'm sure as big as Amazon is, they have generators at their warehouse. I'm sure they're not waiting on Tesla to come bring them a generator or something.
Yeah, but I think the point is they pre-plan for that. What happens in case of this or that?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the hurricane. I mean, if you got a fleet of trucks that are electric, I'm sure you got a plan to generate that up. So I don't know. Maybe they got their own generators and they probably didn't miss a beat.
Well, they didn't. Actually, I took a picture of the one I saw and I posted it. Yeah. And right away, a FedEx driver, Christina Sinclair, popped up and said, "Hey, I deliver for FedEx." And no, they missed 2 beats. It's like we were delivering on Monday and or on Tuesday. We were delivering Tuesday, and they didn't start delivering till today. And today being Thursday. So,
right.
I just think last time, right before I left for Pennsylvania, I was loading the car, and I had a Amazon drop-off. I asked the guy, I turned around, and I didn't hear the truck come up. It was an EV. And I asked the guy driving, and I apologized to him. I don't remember his name now. But I asked him, I said, "How do you like that EV?" And his response was, when they first gave it to me, he said, I was an old school guy with the combustion engines. And he said, now I'm a fan of this. He's like, when I come to work every day, I've got to have my EV.
Yeah. Well, there's been a survey, though, of EV buyers. 50% of them said they got buyer's remorse. They don't like it.
I've seen that a certain percentage of numbers have gone down.
Since you were in Pennsylvania and you missed coffee and cars, we had the Cybertruck right there at the table.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
That was good. I mean, he demonstrated it and what all it does. Pretty interesting. It was $100,000 for him to buy that because they're not mass producing them. They take orders.
Or they build to order.
They build to order right now. But when Elon brought that out, he said that this truck was going to cost $46,000. That's once they get to mass producing them. So if you really want one real bad, you're going to pay twice as much. You pay the $100,000. If you want to wait till it's online and get the mass production truck, it'll drop down to $46,000. So how bad do you want one?
Well, obviously not. I'm not going to pay for one that's almost the price of a house, or approaching that cost.
But I'm kind of like Jay Leno. He was talking about the debate between electric cars and combustion engines, and he goes, it's a really good conversation, but take the politics out of it, kind of thing. They've been around for a long time. You don't have to be one side of the aisle just because you're for or against. Just have a conversation and get the real pros and cons. That's what's kind of really hard in research right now, because you don't know what's being hidden, what's being censored, kind of thing. There's a report of, do they pollute more than the average car? And that was in 22, and that's resurfaced. The Washington Journal reposted the 22 report, And now it's actually being redid again to see if they actually do pollute. And like the researcher was talking about, it's really hard to find out if they actually put out more CO2 on the tires, because that's what they're saying, that the EVs are so heavy that the tires are putting out more pollution than the regular car. But that's really hard to prove because you've got CO2 in the air. You have to eliminate all of it in order to do the research. So that's what's getting so complicated to find out what's right and what's wrong. It's on the pollution part of it.
Well, but come on, you can see when diesel burns in the air, you can see that burning. You can smell gas fumes.
Yeah.
We're talking about the whole thing wasn't to eliminate, our carbon footprint. It was to reduce the carbon footprint.
Reduce the carbon footprint, but I think the problem is that people who have the combustion engine and the regular auto enthusiasts out there is thinking it's a threat.
Well, they definitely see it as a threat.
Right. So if you see it, hey, we can all live together, the combustion engine can still exist on the same streets as the EVs, it's whatever you want, then I think we got everybody kind of relaxing and saying, hey, let's look into this.
I think where the where the uproar from the community comes from is that there was a mandate put in place by the federal government.
Yeah, there is actually a lawsuit on the mandates.
Yeah, so I mean that's really where they feel threatened right there.
Right.
You're forcing us into this, and it's something we don't want to do.
Yeah.
But nobody ever really. You don't see that many people embrace change. Right off the bat. I mean, I'm no different than that. I just had my eyes opened with EVs initially with an engineer from Samsung Electronics. We were at headquarters. Coming out of the lab, I left my phone in the lab, and he ran back to get it. He looks at me, he says, just unplug the car, I've unlocked it. So I unplugged it, I get in, the air conditioner's running, it's nice and cool, and it was pretty humid up in New Jersey that day. And so we start talking, he starts sending me all this data that he's got from an app on his phone. It shows where charging locations are, it shows how quickly the battery's discharging, stuff like that, and what it's going to take to charge it, how time-wise, stuff like that. So he kind of opened my eyes, but the thing that really caught me was my grandson and a friend of his. I took him to an MCA national event. It was a track event and a car show, and Ford Performance was there. And they said, hey, can we go down and talk to the guys at Ford Performance? I said, sure. They come back, they're all bummed out. I'm like, what? What could possibly be wrong? They got factory race cars down there. We got licensed drivers down there. What are you bummed out about?
Because they were all EVs.
Well, no. Nobody down there knew anything about EVs because those are combustion engine guys too, you know. So none of them down there knew anything about it, and these kids were all into it.
Yeah.
My grandson owns he's now 19, but he owns a $1,500 scooter that he got out of England somewhere that goes 60 miles an hour. And he's traveling to and from work on this thing,
Yeah.
Those kids, that generation is going to make this a viable technology.
Yeah.
For you and me, it's not going to be viable anytime soon.
Each of his own. It's pretty much what it is. If you buy it and you like it, then you're going to love it. If you don't want it, then don't get it. It's kind of like that. I was speaking to a Tesla owner at Cars and Coffee, and he loves it because he charges it at his house. He's telling me he has no problems. So, he's telling me it's not inconvenient for him. He's charging it at the house. He's ready to go the next day. He's done. He's not seeing any inconvenience at all. So it's great. If that's what you like, that's fine.
Right, just like my buddy Tim at Samsung at the time. He'd charge it at Samsung headquarters. Didn't cost him anything. He was driving to and from. The only maintenance he had on that car were tires.
Yeah,
that was it.
That's what we're waiting to see. They're coming out. They're new. Most owners haven't had it more than a year or so. So let's see these cars 5 or 6 years down the road. That's like the Tesla owner. We were talking about battery use and replacing a battery. What's this thing going to cost when the battery's no good? Well, we haven't come to that point, he said. I don't know anybody that's needed to replace their battery. Okay, well, let's wait 5 or 6 years and find out what happens when all these batteries go bad. Then revisit all this.
So Tim had a Nissan, right? A Nissan Leaf, I think was what it was called. And he got me involved in a page that it's all talk about the Nissan Leafs. So a few of these owners had bought used ones, and they were changing out the batteries. And I guess now they've got kits where you can actually upgrade the battery and the storage in the battery when you change them out. Now, I don't know what all is involved in
Yeah,
that.
that sounds like it's really complicated, though. You ever see that battery coming off of the car?
No, I haven't.
It's the whole bottom plate.
It is the whole bottom plate,
Right.
yeah.
And since this is also a car club talk show, how many car clubs out there are taking in EVs, or is there an EV car club out there? We would love to know that.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Is anybody even thinking about starting one? If they are, you can give us a holler and let us know you are starting one. We'll give y'all a shout out and let everybody know that, hey, if there's interest in a car club EV, then let us know, and you're starting one, we'll promote it.
I'd like to see them line up and go on a cruise sometime, and people watching them and hear one of them
They can come
rev
by
their
and,
engine.
and charge my house, give me some electricity.
You say that, and we're laughing about it. But I saw somewhere on Facebook.
The Cybertruck can do that.
Well, I saw somewhere on Facebook that somebody here has a Ford Lightning, and they were letting their neighbors run their refrigerator and their fans and stuff off the Ford Lightning.
Yep.
Since this hurricane hit. So that's a thing. It's out there. It's not going to go away.
No. Also, charging stations. Tesla had the best charging station. Is that what made Tesla the brand that it is? The other charging station is only charged like they only had 110 capability. They didn't have the 220. You would be there 8 hours instead of 4. But now the competition is catching up to Tesla. They don't have that advantage anymore. So we'll see. There's a lot of improvements going on.
Ford also adopted the charging connector of the Tesla. So if you've got a Ford, you can charge it on a Tesla charger. So that's important too.
Yeah.
And that standard that comes along with it. I mean, all Android phones have pretty much the same connectors. I saw where Apple phones got kind of hamstrung by the government, I think in Europe at least.
Yeah.
And they have to provide a standardized connector now. They can't keep changing. It can't be different than the Androids.
Yeah. But one of the things I still like Ferrari. Ferrari says they got 2 or 3 engines they've been making for 20 years. And they said they were asked about going EV, and they're like, no, we're not going to change. And I'm like, thank you very much.
Well, if you don't change, you're not going to evolve. If you don't evolve, you're going to be extinct at some point in time. Yeah. So, but anyhow, I guess maybe we should give back a little bit to the station here and maybe fade on out. So that, let everybody know you're listening to Lone Star Community Radio at irlonestar.com on 104.5 and 106.1. That's Robert Helmer. I'm Randy Weldon. We'll be back with Cruisin' Car Club Talk.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
And we're back with appreciation for you taking time to cruise in for Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. Our guest this segment is Bill Summers from a little town in western Pennsylvania, a little farming community, Greenville, Pennsylvania, where I was actually born and spent the first 15 years of my life. I was invited back for a high school reunion that I went to last week, and they have a car show that same weekend. I was pretty blown away by the car show. And so I had to look for who created this thing, and Bill Summer was that guy. I got his number, and Bill went ahead and called. I called him. He called me back. What blew me away was they closed down Main Street, which is pretty cool. But, Bill, 1,500 cars. How in the heck do you get 1,500 cars in a community of 5,000 people?
Well, we packed them in everywhere we could.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was literally like a tidal wave. I mean, the show does not start until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But it's pretty well known to anybody that's been here before that that's just for spectators. um, we had 452 cars registered by a quarter to 10 in the morning.
Wow, you did that registration the morning of. Nothing
Yes.
online prior to that or anything?
Nope, nothing on. We do everything day of the show.
Pretty amazing.
I give away 200 T-shirts to the first 200 registered, and I mean you got to be a pretty early bird to get that worm. If I did pre-registration or online registration, those would be spoken for a year in advance.
Well, I take this as not the first rodeo. So how long have y'all been doing this?
This was our 16th year.
16. Okay. So that's
Yeah,
how y'all been able I'm sure did it start out at 1,500 cars?
Nope. The first year I had it, we only closed down Main Street from Mercer Street to Water Street. And I had 113 cars in there that year.
So it's grown quite a bit then.
And then the next year I said, can I have a little bit more street? So we closed it up all the way up to the Central Park. So we had over 300 cars that year. So after that, it's just gotten bigger, so now we cover the whole street, and now we're going to be scrambling around trying to find some more parking lots that I can commandeer for next year's show.
And you got full support of the town, the city councils?
Yes. Yeah, I have no problem. I mean, they don't charge me for the police. They do a nice job of allowing me to do this. So they've embraced it. I mean, it really, it's a free show, so we don't charge any registration fee. So, I pay for this by sponsor money and through various sponsors. I mean, some people give me $100, some people give me, a grand, $2,000, $3,000, and we just make it happen. We kind of give it back to the community, and really, it's really designed to help the downtown businesses. I mean, these people don't have a day like this, and Randy knows going up in Greenville when he was, back in the day. I mean, Greenville would be, especially at Christmas time, it'd be elbow to elbow downtown.
Yep.
And that's when we had, almost 11,000 people living in this town, but now we've got half of that. So they don't have days like that. I mean, now people, they shop online. I mean, you see Amazon trucks and UPS trucks. I mean, they're delivering constantly. So give these people that have some brick and mortar businesses, give them a chance to have their big day of the year. And
help support the mom and pop businesses around the area.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Majestic Bar and Grill sold 1,000 hot dogs that day.
Yeah, they're known for their hot dogs up there. And by the way, I did stop in and have a couple before I left town.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do that. Be like we'd take you off the high school register if you didn't.
You would do that.
We're still surprised down here today they welcomed him back.
Yeah.
The fact that anybody wanted me back up there, man. So I noticed, by the way, there's I think somewhere we've got a picture of the Main Street from the ladder truck that held the flag up down to the bottom of Main Street before it goes up West Main Hill, and there's a nice Ford car dealership emblem down there. So
Phil Godfrey Ford. Yep.
Yeah. The town obviously has got their priorities right if they're going to let Ford take front and center on Main Street.
They've been there for a long time, even though I sell Mopars for a living.
Oh.
We're up at the other end of town.
So you're working with Chryslers, huh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, what kind of you don't happen to have a Challenger or anything, do you?
As a personal car?
As your personal car?
No, I do not. I have a Ram truck, and I've got a '66 Chevelle. That was my.
Oh man.
'66 Chevelle was my first car. Lasted me about a week, or no, I take that back, about a month. Eventually caught on fire and went to the junkyard. Obviously, I've had a much better experience with this one.
Yeah.
Hey, with this show here being called a Car Club Talk Show, is there any car clubs up there?
Yeah, there's some car clubs up there. Yeah, there's Classic Irons in Meadville, the Rod Fathers in Butler. There's the Rapid Tappets in Newcastle, Hollywood Nights in Youngstown area.
That's a good name.
And there's some other ones, that are around. I can't think of their names right off the top of my head, but there are some other car clubs around.
Are you a member of any of them?
I am not.
Okay.
Hey, you put this event on yourself, right?
Well, obviously I can't do it without my volunteers. I mean, and I shout out to them. I mean, these guys do an awesome job. I don't have to really try and recruit them. I have people ask me if they can help, and they do an awesome job. But I do all the planning, the legwork. I get. This year I had 3,000 flyers passed out. I did have a couple people pass out some flyers, but I probably passed out 2,500 myself. I do it personally. I either take my car to a show, or if it's a long distance away, I'll take my pickup truck down and walk out there and hand them myself. So I do this the old-fashioned way. I kind of believe in personalized service. So I would rather hand the person the flyer than throw it in the car, even though I do throw some in the car. But if I see a particularly nice car, I'll hand it to the person and I'll give them a personal invitation to come up. I think it goes a long way that way. I've never sent out emails. I don't do any mass emails or anything like that. I've never sent out an email that wasn't sent to me first. And I've never licked a stamp in 16 years. I've never sent out a mailer by mail by anybody. The other thing that I do is, everybody registers, they put their phone number down, and I call them and invite them back.
Right. And it's something it sounds like it's something they look forward to every year. Is it almost like a festival?
Oh, yes, it is.
It's gotten to be the point where it's almost like a family reunion.
Right.
Some of these people have been coming for years. I've had people, I've seen them in other shows. Hey, you haven't called me yet. What's up with that? I have people I'll call and it'll get their voicemail, and they'll call me back. Others will call me. I'll call them and leave a message. They'll call me back and tell me that they're sorry they can't come this year. So like I said, never underestimate the personal touch. It works.
So is there a main charity to this?
No charity. We use Community Events Foundation. They take care of the money, and because they're a foundation, they can take care of the event insurance. So it costs a lot less for them to insure it than it would be for us to do it.
Right.
Because you guys well know you can't have an event without event insurance.
You got to have it.
You're going to be in trouble if something happens.
Yep.
And I just they take care of paying all the bills. I get the money from the sponsors. I send it to them, and when it comes time to pay the bills, I just send them down that, and they take care of paying it. And anybody that's a sponsor, they get a nice letter, so they can use that for their tax deductions.
Yeah, that's one less thing that you don't have to worry about. You can just concentrate on getting the cars there.
That's right. That's my main thing. I'm just the promoter. I just want to go out there and meet some people and get some nice cars here. And Randy can attest. I have a really good variety here. You can see anything from late models to we didn't really have any exotics here this year, but I've had some exotics there before in the past. Everything from classics to street rods to pro streets, pro mods, rat rods, you name it. We get it all.
Saw a couple of rat rods out there.
Oh yeah. We get a pretty decent amount of those. I go all over the place. So I go to the shows down in the Pittsburgh area. I go over to Ohio, to the Youngstown area. I go up to the Cleveland area. I go to the Erie area. So I have people from New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. I had a guy here from Chambersburg, PA this year. That's a long haul. That's a 4-hour drive.
Yeah. That's dedication there.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got one guy, he's been there and he actually got one of our Sweet 16 awards this year. His name's Randy Weaver. He's from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He's been here 6 or 7 times, and he has never brought the same car twice, and he didn't do it again this year. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of
I
awards,
can't imagine he's got a pretty good collection.
is this a judging show or?
We do some of that. I mean, it's pretty informal. I mean, I've had awards throughout this. What we had been doing for our main, our main award is what I call the grand prize. I pick the car. It gets to be on the T-shirt for next year's car show, and all on the wine bottles, and all the flyers and promotional items that we put out. And they get a mechanic's jacket with that on the back. So that's the grand prize. Then in prior years, we did a grade 8 award, and those people would get a mechanic's jacket with a logo screen on the back of the jacket, and it would, instead of saying Heritage Days at the top, it would say grade 8 winner on there.
Right.
And it was a nice jacket. It's a nice red cap jacket, so they're a good mechanic's jacket. And we usually have some memorial awards. Not the best way to get your name on a trophy, but
Right.
It is.
It's still special.
We've had some emotional presentations with that. We normally do about 4 of those. And one of them is the Bill Mitchell Award. Bill Mitchell was a very famous General Motors designer from the 50s and 60s and the early 70s, who was raised in downtown Greenville. A lot of people didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
So the guy that put the split window Corvette on the map was a Greenville guy.
I didn't know that.
I actually had a person that they used to have. If you remember, you probably don't remember Filer's dealership, Randy. They were over on Race Street there. With it's a laundromat now, but they had Studebaker. They had Mercedes Benz. They had Cushman. They had all kinds of different things, and they started coming. We did a memorial award for Ed Filer when he passed away, because a guy by the name of Bill Pressler was part of a Studebaker club, so we got involved with that. But his wife, Mimi Filer, was in school when Bill Mitchell was in school. And she remembers one of her classmates telling her that apparently he was in class and the teacher caught him drawing cars. And she told him, Billy Mitchell, you put those car drawings away, you'll never amount to anything.
That's pretty good.
I mean, you can't make stuff like that up.
No, you can't.
So we've been doing an award for him now, although, I got to figure out what other cars he had designed, because we already did the Buick Riviera. We did this year was the second generation Camaro. First year was the best second generation Corvette. So I got to figure out what else that he had hands in designing, so I can do it again.
Right.
And then other people, if they pass away, and I know them, or they've been to the show before multiple times or something like that, we'll do that, and we let the family of them pass that out. So they're in charge of the award, and we don't give any criteria other than if it's for, like this year we did the Tom Goodland Best Mopar Award. Tom was a guy that sold Mopars in Greenville, started out at Wolf Motors, went to Jim Sarvis Dodge when it was Jim Sarvis Dodge, which is actually the building I work in. That's who I came to Greenville with when I started selling Dodges in Greenville. Then he went to Griffin Motors in Meadville, and then actually he came back and worked for us when it was Lakeland Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Greenville. He worked for us for a while. So he passed away like a couple years ago. We were going to do an award for him that year, but the family couldn't make it, so they could this year. So we actually had all the Mopars park on Race Street area. So they were all kind of condensed there, and they picked the winner. And they had some pictures of the first day he started on the job in his suit and everything like that. Because back then they all wore suit and ties, and just kind of a neat thing. And then
is that street spelt the way you're saying it, Race Street?
RACE.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's a pretty good name for a street.
It is. I don't know how it got that name. Greenville's, almost 200 years old. So, I mean, maybe they had horse races on that street or something like that, or a racetrack. I think actually, I I think there was a horse race track down where the area of Riverside Park was, so that could be why it's named Race Street. But
Yeah, it could be. I never thought of
the
that.
building where Wolf Motors was still stands. The basement, and they have a ramp system where they would park the cars in the basement. That still exists. It's still there. And one of the cars that we had there was a 55 Dodge Coronet Dennis McGranahan had. Car, it was bought new in Greenville at RW Moyers Motors, which is on Race Street as well. It's where Greenville Tire is now. Their showroom was on the top floor. So they had to drive the cars up and down a series of ramps just to get them down on the ground.
Oh, wow.
And that was a pretty unique piece. I mean, the thing it had 6,020 documented original miles.
Wow.
Never been restored.
Wow, completely original.
A lot of history there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying also when you do your awards, you don't have everybody together to do awards.
No, I do not.
You're just
It's also not a trophy for everyone either. So
No. Well,
Right.
Here's what we do. I've never had any ceremonies, and I have a reason for that. I've been at some shows and where somebody complains, you didn't judge my car, or why didn't I win, or something like that. So what I've done is, when, like, for the Sweet 16 we did this year, or the Grade 8 we did in years past, I have just a little letter typed up that says, "Congratulations, you've been picked, the winner of the Sweet 16, like we did this year. You need to contact Bill Sumners with my phone number, or go to the registration table to receive your prize." And that's how we do it. So we don't do any ceremonies.
Right.
So I will give them the award. I'll tell them to go back, take a picture of it, send it to my phone. We'll put it on Facebook now. For first few years, we didn't even do that, and like the memorial awards, we do the same thing. I just say, you give the award out, take a picture of the person with their car with the award. We'll post it on Facebook, say what it was. That's it. No ceremonies.
Right.
Because that takes up time. Because we have to save time for us to do the wine giveaway.
Yeah, how's a wine giveaway work?
Well, we give you an information card that you put in your windshield, that says where you're from, what kind of car it is, what your engine size, things like that. And we put a colored dot on there, about the size of a quarter. And at the bottom of it says, you will use this as a coupon for the wine giveaway. So we have a wheel that we had at the dealership that had numbers on it, and what they used to use it for was when they had like a salesman bonus thing or something like that. If you sold a car, you got to spin a wheel, and they'd give you some money in your pocket or something like that day. So we hadn't used it in years. So I got it. We divided it up into the colors. So we spin that wheel, and if it lands on the color, the person wins a bottle of wine. So we give away 200 bottles of that. So I call it the only drinkable trophy east of the Mississippi.
That's why everybody's not asking about trophies.
Well, that's one of them. It's a big draw. And you'd be surprised. We've never gave out all 200 bottles in one spin. This year it took 3 spins. So it's the third spin. Obviously it's a first come first serve thing. We don't wait all day when you call the color. We'll give you a couple minutes. If you're not there, we're spinning again. So we got down to the last 36 bottles, and we spotted in there, and those people were sticking their cards out. I told somebody it reminded me of the carpet, the spillway in Linesville. When you're throwing bread at them.
These guys don't even know about the spillway.
Oh no, that's right. They never heard about the ducks walking on the fish's back. So.
You tell people that ducks walk on the backs of fish, and they don't believe you until they show up out there.
Well, it's because everybody's full of wine.
Well, they are, yeah. But that's one over big, because I don't know if Randy told you, but we screen print the logo of the car show on the bottle.
No, I didn't. I didn't tell. I didn't have a chance. I've just gotten back last night.
Yeah. So that's what we do with that. So I mean, I've got people that, well, one person, for instance, I mean, her husband's pickup truck was on the wine bottle one year, but that is the only piece of automotive anything that's allowed in her house. She has a shelf with every year's bottles on there.
That wasn't my buddy Jack Pickens, was it?
What's that? No, it's not Jack Pickens.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's only had that truck out a couple years. You know,
nice truck, though.
It is. No, this guy's name, the name is, he's from Ashtabula, Ohio. His name's Dave Hazeltine.
All right.
And, you know, they come here, they bring a whole group every year. And, you know, we happened to pick his truck one year. It was a 41 Plymouth truck, which you don't see many of. And it was a street rod. So it was a nice, real nice piece. And, yeah, that's the only thing that's allowed in your house. Everything else got to stay in the garage.
Yeah, it stay out in the shop with them.
Yeah.
I was amazed at the quality of cars that you had there. These cars are, you know, some of them are new, but the majority of them are older cars. They're perfectly restored. Incredible craftsmanship that went into it. Every little bit of detail is taken care of. Every car I looked at up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you know, Randy, I mean, you know, I mean, this time we were a mill town. I mean, we had the Greenville Steel Car and the Bessemer Lake Erie Railroad things here. I mean, these guys were making pretty good money. I mean, those boys at the Steel Car back in the 70s, they were making $7,500 a day with their incentive pay when they were working back in the 70s. I mean, that was big smoke.
Yes, it
was.
So
these guys had a lot of muscle cars. I mean, so obviously a lot of those cars didn't get preserved. But the same people, you know, as they got older, saved money and got back into it. You know, they're the ones either restored one themselves or bought one restored. And, you know, I say that this area is probably one of the second most car crazy area in the U.S., you know, the Eastern Ohio and Western Pennsylvania because of all that. You know, there was a lot of money being made back in the day, and these guys all had stuff like that. And they, you know, now they're retired or near retirement, they have stuff like that, and now we're finding out now that, you know, that we're getting another generation that's coming in that are in their 30s and 40s that are starting to get interested in these things. So now you're getting some younger people that are getting into the older muscle cars.
Did you have younger people that had cars in the show? I couldn't tell who owned what up there.
Yeah, we had, and some of them were late model cars, but we have some, you know, some people that you know, have, you know, street rods and, you know, in classic muscle cars that are in their, you know, 30s and 40s. You know, they just kind of grew up around it. Maybe dad did it, and they just kind of
passed the tradition
took over
along.
where we left off.
Yeah.
Yep.
As long as they got to keep that craftsmanship going, because a lot of people don't know how to do that anymore.
A lot of people don't.
Well, yeah, you're right, guys. I mean, having those people like, you know, if I see a little kid, you know, looking at my car or something like that and just staring at it, you know, there's a lot of times I'll open up the door and say, you want to have a seat in it? You know, I'll pick them up and put them in there and let them sit in it and you know, immerse himself in there. And, you know, it's a pretty cool moment for me and for the kids, you know. I mean, that's something they might not forget. So you never know, you might be grooming a future muscle car head, you know.
That's true. You ever notice how the younger kids, when they're walking, looking at the cars, they'll gravitate to one brand or another?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
You know, that amazes me at a very young age, how they'll gravitate to one brand.
Sure. You know, and that may be because, maybe grandpa had one, dad had one, or they just, whatever, took a shine to it, you know, just because of the way it looks. You know, but you gotta that. I mean, it's just like if you had like a golf course or a bowling alley or something like that. If you don't, you know, get youth involved in that, then sooner or later you run out of golfers or bowlers. Right. You know, because you're not cultivating the situation.
Right, and that's the same thing with car clubs too. If you don't get the youth in there, we're seeing car clubs actually fade away.
Yeah, sure.
No, they do. They come and go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Bill, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to do a Zoom call with us all the way in from Western Pennsylvania. What is your Facebook page? How do people find you? You
know, it's just Heritage Days Super Cruise. You I mean, there's probably some posts on there. I probably haven't kept up with it. I used to have somebody that was kind of in charge of it. Now I just post stuff on there. I'll be honest, I'm not real savvy as to how all that stuff works. So I'll put the post on there. I put it on my personal page. I had one guy said I missed the show because he didn't have anything on Facebook. Well, hey, I passed out 3,000 flyers. It's advertised in a magazine, and it was on 2 different car cruise websites.
And it's been going on for 16 years.
Yeah, it's been going on for 16 years. The first Saturday of July. Okay.
Right. And it shuts down the whole town, so everybody should remember it.
Exactly, they should. So I mean, I can't. I guess I can't always touch all the bases, but I try.
Well, man, we thank you for taking the time to zoom in with us. I was impressed and blown away by the show. You're doing a heck of a job up there, and I hope to get back and see it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come on back.
He was walking around like my classic car. The only thing, you didn't have the camera crew with you.
No, but Bill had camera crews up there. I saw Hemmings was up there, and somebody else was up there.
It was the Low Car Show is what will be on
Motor Trend.
On Motor Trend, yeah.
Oh, okay, I got to catch that.
Sam Madavi is the host of that, and he does all the interviews on it. So we did, I think, 16 interviews. People got interviewed for it, and they'll be on. There's 2 episodes, 2 half-hour episodes. That'll air at the end of August. And then they air them in different quarters too. So they'll even have some out in next spring. Which is kind of nice. I mean, I'll get phone calls and emails and stuff like that, and have people ask me about the show when it airs then, because they think it's all fresh.
No, I have to look for that Motor Trend, right?
Well,
Motor Trend.
Yeah, he does a really nice job. I mean, a lot of those shows the guy's just standing there and he's talking about his car and like that, and Sam really does a nice job of interacting with people,
right?
And asking them some personal things, and there's some good interviews there.
All right. Well, thank you again for being with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Bill. You take care. We're out of here for station identification. This is Cruisin Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1. Or if you want to stream us, we're at irlonestar.com.
And we'll be right back.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Hey, we are back. And you are listening to Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert Helmer. Say it again.
Robert Helmer.
Walked all over him that time,
Yep.
just like I've been doing. I'm Randy Weldon. Our guests this segment are Katie and Jason Scaturro. I knew you guys before you had the same last name.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I was around when you first started talking at a barbecue joint or somewhere one day after a car show.
Yeah.
So, hey, we can't thank you guys enough for driving in here from College Station. It's about an hour drive over here, but we thank you for coming in. Did you get any hurricane damage out there?
No, a lot of wind, a lot of rain. Nothing too bad, though.
Haven't lost any
You
power?
got power.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, neither one of us have power, so.
It's terrible.
We're enjoying it.
Well, AC will be back one of these days, and we'll quit sweating, profusely at the house. So, but I think that's going to be Sunday or later for me. So, we ask you guys to be on this show because you have come together, and really you've become very well known in the automotive enthusiast community. I don't know anybody out there that doesn't know y'all. So
Yeah, that's a little weird.
yeah, well, it's kind of cool, I think, because I know that you guys met through cars. Mm-hmm. Katie was coming out to the TWCC event years ago before you were around, and you had a new Mustang and I think an old Mustang at the time.
Brand new, yeah. Hadn't done anything to it, but I just wanted to get out and do events with it.
And you were coming out by yourself. And then Jason, you showed up on the scene.
I moved here in 2017, and didn't take too long after that before I started going to events.
And you were showing up consistently. I mean,
Yeah.
that was, yeah. So I know at the time, Katie, I think, had you just gotten out of school? So you were,
It had been a few years.
but you're like you're a lab rat in a research lab somewhere in College Station, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
You're still doing that, right?
Yes.
And Jason, you're with the government.
Yes.
You're with the Social Security Administration,
Yes.
right? Yeah. But the two of you have brought your car passion together. You come out, you've gotten well known in the community, so you do stuff outside your jobs, and you attend as many events as possible. You're into Houston, I think, almost every weekend.
We are always
Yeah.
on the move somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, what's the name of your Facebook page?
Houston Regional Automotive Events.
And so what happens is you post a list of events. There used to be a guy in town by the name of Camaro Kid, Bob Wright.
I know
and
him.
he had a calendar. And Bob's still around. He just quit doing the calendar. But you've replaced that.
Kind of, yes, I did.
Well, yeah, it's not the same, but you've replaced it.
Yeah.
But you do a weekly posting.
Yes, I do. I create a list of events for everything in roughly 3 hours of Houston, of every event I can find, and I do this every week.
And it looks like you're doing it on Thursdays.
Yes.
Is that when the update
It
is?
gets released every Thursday morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It gets posted out for everybody to see.
How many hours you put into that?
Oh, quite a few. I usually spend most of the evening on Wednesday night compiling that, anywhere between 3 and 5 hours every Wednesday, making this whole list together.
What do you're going out looking for car shows that are going to take place that coming weekend, right?
Yes, it took me a couple years to finally get on to enough, but I'm on roughly about 300 different Facebook pages for car events and car clubs. And that way, every time they post something, I get notified of it, and I gather all this information from Facebook events to flyers that people just post a picture of, to
Or
just
flyers we get at car shows.
flyers we get at car shows, to just information that somebody happens to post, going, "Hey, there's a car show going on over here," and I save it all, and every week I compile all that information into an individual list that people can vote on as to what events they're going to be attending.
So the idea is you post this list of shows that are going to take place this coming weekend, and then you list on the poll. What's the poll normally say?
It's the weekly event poll. Normally, well, one, there's always an opening scene, something I create. And I will tell you straight up, I make that up every week. I just
Entertainment purposes.
come out of nowhere with that. I've made comments about how we've ran to Area 51 to find events, and those guys in black suits can really move. But usually a lot of that does have a real, either historical or real fact involved. I used the CERN Super Collider one time. I used the Seed Vault in Greenland. These are all real places.
That we've never been kicked
Yeah,
out of.
that we've never actually been kicked out of or arrested at. But I make up this event list, and then I compile this list by date, starting from Thursday, going on to the next Wednesday. And I usually have anywhere between probably 55 and 80 events a week I can compile together. And it's a poll, so people can vote on it. So people can see the interest from others. They can see,
How many people are actually going to the event?
how many people are going, which friends of theirs are going.
Right.
That's what I've noticed more than anything else is people will tag in that they're going, and other people are watching the page, scanning up and down through the list, and they're deciding to go to a show based on if their friends are going to that show or not.
Yes.
And that's an extra additive that that wasn't on Bob Wright's page. Yeah, say Space City Cruiser show, but you didn't know how many other people were coming with you.
Yes.
So this is an extra on this page.
And you will see it. A lot of times you'll see like a couple people from a particular club vote on something. And I will notice that they'll end up making a post, hey, this is going on this weekend. And next thing you know, I look at the event poll and those numbers of votes for that event will start to go up and up and up. And it's from the people in that club or their friends all voting on it. The idea behind this is one, to give information. I never liked the idea of a club telling people where they had to go. This is you have to join the page, and that's only because it's so people can't steal it, because they've already tried. It didn't take long for me.
Of course they tried. Yeah.
To make it private, because people were copying it and posting it elsewhere.
Taking all your work.
Yeah. That, and to bring people together, to give them that idea. Hey, I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. Hey, so-and-so is going here. Let's go with them. It's to give people that ability to see who's going where are my friends going? Where are buddies of mine going? And what is out there? I have had more people tell me they did not realize how much is going on after reading that event poll. They just thought, there's like 5 or 6 things going on. And then they see that event poll and don't realize how much is going. Mm-hmm. And it's, anywhere, like I said, anywhere between 50 and 80 events.
Right.
And that page has grown and taken a life of its own. We do it because we enjoy it.
Well, yes, you guys enjoy it, and you enjoy. I think you've been embraced by the community. You have a lot of people that.
Do you know now you can't get out of it?
I think a lot of people
will find us.
I think a lot of people would be very upset if I shut that page down.
Oh, I think they would be. Yeah, yeah. But you guys seem to get invited out, and you're taking more and more part in shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not just as a participant, you're helping put these shows on now as well.
Yes. We play a big part in several shows. One of the biggest ones is the Tomball Lions Club show.
Right.
I do a lot of the advertising for that show, and we are the ones that run all the judging. I've got judges, but I'm the one that makes the final call as far as if they don't know. And that show has grown over the past several years, has gone from a 60 to 80 car show to a flat 300 sold out almost every year.
Yeah.
This year we had a bad run because of rain. It was just a bad luck, and it poured both weekends that was supposed to happen. But that's going to happen.
It's going to happen. There's been no getting away from rain this year.
But anytime usually when that show's got good weather, you can guarantee it'll be 300 cars, and they'll be turning people away in the mornings because we just don't have the room.
Yeah.
And but I help with that. I help Jennifer Everidge with her show, the benefit show for cancer. We get involved in a few. A lot of times I get involved just because I believe in the cause. I don't ask, but I will help by just posting it out there. Every year Ribs and Rods goes on up in Temple, and Heroes and Hot Rods in Bastrop. Both of those are great events. Ribs and Rods up in Temple, I can guarantee. The one year we went that it rained, and it's in a park in Temple, for almost 500 cars. Every year,
amazing turnout.
Every year we've been there that it hasn't, you're talking 800 plus. And all that is for the Ronald McDonald House. Every dime of it goes to them.
Yeah, people really love giving back to the charities.
Yeah. Yes. Heroes and Hot Rods, like I said, I just start posting it out there and give the information to people. Nobody asked me to do it. I just kind of figured I could help.
Yeah.
And that's a 400 car show every year flat. They sell out usually a month early every year. And it's all for veterans organizations. We do this because we enjoy it. We do it because we love it. And it is about just helping other people, being fortunate enough to be able to be in that position.
Well, it is. You guys, again, you've been embraced very well by the car club community, automotive enthusiast community. You get invited to different things. I noticed when you got married, you were invited, I believe, over to Jackie Hanson's house and had the wedding there, didn't you?
Well, actually, Jackie had jokingly made a statement about the fact, if you guys ever get married, I have this wonderful shop here you can use. And after
And then that seeded the idea.
after I proposed, I asked what she wanted to do, and we had talked about it, and we came up with this whole idea together and came up with a car show wedding. We had our wedding, we had a car show, we didn't do some fancy meal, we had barbecue. It was fantastic, and had a blast doing it.
It looked like you had a good turnout over there.
Yeah.
So where did y'all actually meet? Don't remember the
That
car
was the
show.
Woodlands.
I was gonna say we first started talking in the Woodlands.
That was the
Okay,
Woodlands
the
Cars and
Woodlands.
Coffee.
Okay.
Started more seriously talking at the NMCC, the national show.
Yeah,
Oh, at the Lone Star Flight Museum. Yeah.
yeah.
2019 or so.
Because that's when we really started talking to each other. I kind of duped her into it because she was freezing, and I told her, "You're going to take this coat." She didn't want to, and I kept pushing it until
And
she
I kept
finally
saying
did.
no.
Until she finally did. That was it. Hooks were in. But no, we started talking. We both have this.
And y'all both drove Mustangs?
I was gonna say
Oh,
it
yeah.
helped that we both had black Mustangs.
Right.
Yeah, she had a 17. Well, still has her 17 Black Mustang. I had a 16 California Special at the time. That really kind of brought us together, and it just grew from there.
Your cars are customized. They both look very similar.
Yes,
though.
they do.
Yes.
And what have you done to the cars to make them look similar like that?
Well, actually, they were looking similar before we really met. Well, I don't have the California Special anymore. That's actually my father has it.
That's right. He does have it.
But both of those cars, they've got a lot of custom paint work done under the hood, as far as the engine covers, brake reservoirs, strut tower braces, strut tower covers,
Coolant reservoir.
custom an aluminum coolant reservoir, a lot of custom decals that actually I make.
Oh, you make your own decals.
Yeah. Started off originally, we used to buy them, and to be honest, I decided to look into it and bought a plotter and started making our own. So that custom tail lights, because we put Euro tail lights in our cars, and we have an American flag overlay over the tail lights, caliper covers in custom colors, shift knobs, steering wheels, little things on the interior. I've since sold, like I said, the California Special to my father, and I have a 22 Mach 1, and I've got full custom striping on it, because Ford put black stripes on a black car. I did full custom in gray and green, because Ford really doesn't do that, and I wanted something very unique. Once again, custom tail lights with that American flag cover. Engine bay, I've got a lot of custom paint work done under there. I've created a custom Mach 1 sign to go up under the hood. A friend of mine, Frank Tarbert, created my
Yeah, Frank.
stand.
Yeah.
I've got a stand that's made out of a caliper, or a rotor and a camshaft, and I created the sign for my showboard sign. I had that all custom painted to match the car, created the Mach 1 sign to go up under the hood, and have, put different steering wheel in it. I said, I think I had the car not even 24 hours before I started changing things out.
Well, it helped that we had a kitchen table full of parts before the car even came in.
Yeah, I was a little excited about the car coming in. But, we love doing it. It's making that car ours, making it something that's only us.
So who has the better car, you or Katie?
She
He
does.
Oh, here we go. We're pointing to each other now.
I wanted to ask you, okay, you've helped with other car clubs a lot and all the car shows, and And you're talking about these other shows that are outside of town, getting 800-900 cars. Why are the local car clubs struggling to get 100 cars at a car show?
A lot of that has to do with advertising. A lot of these clubs will post an event. They've got an event. It's a good event. It's a great location, great charity, but they put it on their page and their page only. And a lot of these, especially these car clubs, are private pages. So the average individual can't see them. And it's kind of like going to your car club going, hey, we got a car show. And then that's only where it goes.
Right.
You know, a lot of the reason that,
Kind of like talking to the choir.
yeah,
You're just,
you're telling people that you have a car show that are already involved in it. They know it's there. Advertising, I cannot stress that. And I have told, I don't know how many people that advertising for a show is just key. And I don't mean spending money on radio ads or TV or anything like that. It's literally posting it on different pages around Facebook. There's probably 60 different event pages on Facebook alone. There are, like I said, 300 car clubs, car specific pages, and event pages that I'm on. And like when I do it, when someone contacts me to do it, and I don't always do it, typically I lean more towards charity events, and it is asking a lot of time of me, because for me to do an advertising run for an event takes me 3 days, because Facebook will put me in jail if I do too many.
They will do that.
Oh yes. But these clubs need to realize, and it's so easy to do, just post the event out. That's really the key factor. Get that event out there
to many pages as you can.
To public pages, as many as you can. And 99% of these clubs are all willing to help out. If you contact these clubs going, hey, we want to invite you out. We want you to come out there. This is the reason why we're putting this show on. We are supporting this charity. You will almost always get at least 5 cars out of them, if not a lot more. Part of the reason Tomball Lions Club show has grown so rapidly is because I do, like I said, I am heavily involved in that show. I believe in that charity. It does a lot of good work. They actually publicly show where that money goes. And every month, for usually about anywhere between 8 and 10 months, I put that event on 300 pages.
Right.
But also, I send direct messages to those clubs. Hey, we want you out here.
Yeah.
We want you to come out. We want you to see your cars, to get them out there.
I'm also hearing you're advertising the next show the day after the show.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people make the mistake of I'm gonna post this up 2 weeks before the event or a week before. That is
the day before.
It's
way
too
too
late.
soon. That is way too soon to that event.
Oh, okay.
You have got to get that thing out there. Blue Bonnet Street Rodders up in Bryan do a fantastic show, and I've gotten involved with them with pushing those out to different pages. They do a lot of good work with charity. Put a lot of that, all that money goes back to the community, and I almost fight with them every year. Where's the event? When you get an event and you're wanting to advertise it, you don't need everything. You need the date and the location.
Yep.
That's all you need to have.
Especially the location.
Yeah. You get that, and you can you need to create an actual event on Facebook. Because if you create an event on Facebook, people get live updates. You actually post something, they get a notification. A flyer's okay, but if you cancel the event, how do people know? They don't get notified of it.
Right.
They just, by blind luck, happen to run across where you said, oh, the event's canceled. Whereas when you have a Facebook event, if it gets canceled, everybody gets notified. Now, if you've got that date, time, and location, that's all you need. You can edit that and change it as the time goes by, but you need to get that out there, and you need to be consistent. 6, 8 months prior, start posting that event around, and then every month post it out there. Remind people.
So you think 6 to 8 months is ideal?
It's a good time frame, yes. A lot of people, I get a lot of unique comments sometimes from people that know me about especially some of these events that I'm involved in, going, "Oh my God, we didn't realize this was going on," because
They're being sarcastic.
Yeah, they're being extremely sarcastic because I post it every month.
Yeah.
And but like I said, you know what's happening,
Right.
Yeah.
and you don't forget it, do you?
And you don't forget it. That's right.
And guess where I end up seeing them when showtime comes?
Yeah,
There they are.
Yeah.
It's the information is what people need, and you've got to give them time to plan. You put out an event, you put out something on an event a week or two before the event. Most people will never see it, and most people already have plans. Well, I'm going over here. I've got this event. Whereas if you get 6 to 8 months, especially when they consistently keep seeing it being posted over and over again, people start to remember it. Why don't we go check that out? Let's go out there. And it allows them to start planning cruises to the event. Let's all meet up here. We'll cruise in together. Let's all go over here. We'll park together. That way we can all sit around together at the show, and we'll have a little thing with the club. That's what needs to happen. And there are too many events out here, especially in the local area, that just don't get it out there soon enough.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Is there too many events? Can you have too many events?
Honestly, I would say no.
No?
You do have to remember, if you are planning an event, what time of year it is. If you're planning to have an event sometime in March and April, you're going to have competition.
Right.
You're planning to have an event October, November, December, you're going to have competition.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 big months.
It used to be June, July, and August, but it got so hot, everybody's saying, I'm not coming back in the middle of June or July and August to a car show. And that's where it all got moved to. You never used to hear of a car show in October, November, and December. Now it's all year
ideal.
long. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, don't get me wrong. We get shows all year. Probably the only time we don't get shows is last 2 weeks of December.
Yeah.
That's about it. But your big months are March and April, October, November, and the beginning of December. And as long as you keep that in mind,
Right.
that means you're competing with these other shows. Those are the times when I'm going to have 70, 80 or more events on that list every week. So you're competing with that. And how do you win? Advertising.
Right.
You get that information out there. And that's what needs to be done.
It's hard enough when you're trying to not to step on other car clubs show, and you're checking all the other car clubs and seeing what day their show is going to be, so you can plan your calendar out. But when you and then when you plan your show, somebody comes up to you and say, "Did you know there's a car show right down the street the same day?" Like, we didn't know.
That was another idea behind the Houston Regional Automotive Events, is because anybody can post events on that page. Now, yes, I am very strict because all posts have to be approved, and I am very strict as to what gets put. It's not a place for posting jokes. It's not a place for posting, your vacation photos,
Or
Things
business
for sale.
your advertisements for sales because
Yeah.
you'll happen to run a mechanic shop or a detail shop. It's for events and photos from events. And if you actually get on that page and you're planning an event, you can go to the events area. So all these Facebook events that I put on there, you can actually go on there and see what's coming up in the future. You can actually go backwards and see what historically has been there in the past to help try to plan when you have your event. It's evolved into an incredible resource that a lot of clubs use, and I'm glad they use it. That's what it's there for.
Right.
It's not there for just me. If it was that, it would have a whole 2 members. But you know,
Yeah, it always cracks me up when somebody comes. They pop up, and this happens pretty much weekly. But they pop up, and they're like, "So, what's going on this weekend, car show wise?" And you're just like, "Have you never been to this page? Where have you been?"
I actually ended up making, that page is my creation. I'm a bit passionate about it. Katie helps me run it. She does as much on that page as I do. And, at one point in time, people asked for it. I actually went ahead and spent my money. I made business cards. And every time somebody asks about it, I've got a card that I'll give people that's got a barcode on it that will actually lead you directly to the page. A lot of clubs now have actually contacted me and asked me, do you care if we tell people? And these clubs are starting to tell all their members, including the new ones, go to this page. Yeah. This is where you'll find the events.
That's good.
No, I mean, look, it's important. It's become very important to the community.
All I want to do is try to make it's a great place for information. It's a great resource for clubs to use. And to be honest, we do it because we love it. We're passionate about it. And we want to help these people raise money for these charities that are needed.
Where did you move in here from?
I'm kind of from all over the place. I moved here from Florida.
From Florida, and that was when?
That was in 2017.
17.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Illinois, joined the military, spent a couple years out in Washington State near Seattle, spent the next 10 years in Germany, spent 3 years in London, a couple years in Arizona, a couple years in Florida, and then came here and found a home.
See, that's why that's why I don't leave Texas, because everybody settles here anyway.
Robert's fixing to get on the board of Mustang Club of America this month, actually, next weekend, and he'll be traveling then.
Oh yes,
we're going to take the boy out of Texas for a little bit. So.
Oh yes.
Well, guys, we can't thank you enough for coming on the program, for driving all the way from College Station, and you guys make a great couple. The whole community knows the two of you, not just one of you. So say again the name of your page and how they find you.
It's on Facebook. It's Houston Regional Automotive Events. You can either type all that in or just HRA Events, and it'll bring up that page. Like I said, it is a private page. You do have to join it. It doesn't cost you anything.
It's a great tool.
I only do that so it remains open to everybody.
And every Thursday,
that
post.
Yes.
Every Thursday at 8 a.m. I release that event poll.
If somebody's going to an event, they can make a decision based off what you've got posted on your page.
Yeah, you can click on as many events as you like. I've got some people that vote on every event. I've got some that vote on one. Right. It's the point behind it is that people can vote, and you can see how popular an event will be. And when you look at it, you can click on the event on the right side of it, and you can actually see who all has voted. So you can see your club members or your friends that have decided that's where they're going to go.
Right. Well, we appreciate you coming in. We've got Katie and Jason Scaturro drove over here from College Station, but they drive in every weekend to do a car show somewhere. But we can't thank you enough for helping us understand a little bit more about your page. So thank you, guys.
Anytime.
I think that's it for this episode of Cruisin' Car Club Talk. I'm Randy Weldon, and what's your name?
Robert Helmer, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. And way over there in the sound booth, is Dick still there? Is he awake?
He's awake.
Thought I heard him snoring a minute ago. Okay. We are broadcasting from the Lone Star Studios, Lone Star Community Radio at 104.5 and 106.1 FM. And we're streaming worldwide on irlonestar.com, Facebook, and YouTube.
And if you like the show, please let us know. Send us an email.
It's always good to get negative or positive feedback. We'll take
Right.
it all.
Right. Thank you, guys.